If you're a public servant, you can't be rich. That's why if I find an MP that is rich, I'll not know how. There's no way.
Unless they're stealing.
There's no way MP can be rich.
Well, let's spend a minute on the culture of patronage and the culture of arranging. Let's eat the money.
Yeah.
Does that exist in South African politics?
Yeah. It's very big.
Yeah.
Patronage it's central in South African politics.
Okay.
Across all political parties.
How do you describe it across all political parties?
Look,
I want to go to the highest number of this youth, 35. And I want to say, isn't that also too old?
No, it's a young person in our economic conditions and as a world. In a normal situation, at 30 years, you can't be a young person. In a normal. But because of the injustice of the past and the high level of inequalities, a 30-year-old is still carried as a young person in South Africa on the basis of inactivity. Now, you have not started your life in South Africa.
By the time you're 30.
30 years, you're still a young man. Very few of us had that opportunity.
King David Studio Podcast.
I'm trying to understand, are South Africans wrong to think that politicians are thugs because of that?
They're not wrong. We do it on their faces every day. When we arrive in the fancy cars, we buy the most expensive alcohol. It's problematic because it's lifestyles that you can't afford with your salary. That's what I said, man. I said, no, if any public service that is rich is a corrupt. Because there's no way. Because by the time Khodi fell, the fourth week, David already fed it. Now, it must be stopped into our regime because it's stealing from the poor. But democracy has never been fully perfect.
But when it fails a nation...
Yeah, it's a problem.
Yes.
That's why we're pushing the ANC now. So that those things of doing favors for people who are from exile, they've ended.
Under a tree somewhere in Zambia.
No, we've paid them. It's enough now.
Sure.
Yeah, it's enough now. We're not going to do it anymore. We're not going to support anything that has to do with... It's enough. Most of them are pensioners anyway.
We have presidents that are pensioners, technically.
Yeah, I've said it before that President Ramaphosa is going to be the last pensioner as a president. Yes.
What has happened to municipalities in South Africa from a student of the subject?
Okay, one, corruption.
Okay.
It's a big thing. Municipal officials are thieves. You know, people are thinking politicians, they just see a cramp, small issues. The biggest thieves are municipal managers and city managers. They cut corners.
Yeah.
The Zulu movement is anarchy. Let's start there first. We're a law-abiding country with a constitution. And we subscribe to human rights commissions. And you can't block women from giving birth. It's not their problem that they're in the country. And it's not their problem. Their problem is the border control. Their problems is the law enforcement in the country. But you can say a woman, that Tutula, because it's full of cowards. It does not target where there's dominance of a problem. I'm saying you'll never find them, but they're fighting with, to clean Hillbrow of drug laws and all of those things. They're targeting the most vulnerable. They're targeting women. They're targeting children. Because if you close
sick people
and sick people, I'm saying those people. That's what I'm saying. Dula is a group of cowards. Because if they are serious about that revolution, they must go and assist us to clean Hillbrow. They must go there. That's what the problem is at. Because those are the people that are illegal in the country, who are selling drugs to people who have checked buildings. Those are the people that they must talk about. But how does a pregnant woman become dangerous to you? To a point we block them. A child died.
The argument is that they're taking a resource from a South African.
No. It's not the problem of a person who's in the country. It's a problem of government. I'm saying if you've opened your borders up, you've allowed Home Affairs to be corrupt, you've allowed corruption to happen everywhere, you don't enforce law in this country.
What is the definition of a youth in South Africa?
Look, at the definition of a youth, it's a young person below the age of 35 years. 35 and below, as per our youth. Who they are able youth and able youth. They are, for example, they are teenagers who are not legally. They are, it's young people in general who are not. Then I always introduce that there's a missing middle.
Of course.
those who are too young to be old, too old to be young, the ones between the ages of 36 to 40.
Yes.
In most cases, laws don't cater for them. That's why every time I speak everywhere, I also cater for them. Because most of them, because of our economic structure, sometimes, some of them, they finish varsity very late. I'm saying there are many people who got their first degrees when they're 31, 32. Then when they want to start working, then they say they no longer benefit from youth interventions. Especially if you're a male. In South Africa, if you're a male and you are above 35 years, you are immediately disadvantaged.
Yeah.
At least women are still protected because everything is 50% must be representation of women. Any breakaway from the ANC now, the ANC is dead.
No.
You can't afford it at this stage. Now
it's already bad.
Yeah, why engagement now with the ANC leadership that every chance we get, let's engage these people to come back into the movement where they feel that where we can engage them on issues. Let's do that,
including MK.
Yes, look, the MK issue is it's an issue of personalities. It's not a political organization at MK. It's an organization formed to protect Jacob Zuma. Now, Jacob Zuma is 80-something years old, approaching 90. He's not a political organization that exists beyond protecting Jacob Zuma. Now, there's no politics. That's why anyone, Floyd tried to go there and say he wants to build an organization. He got there, he drafted the constitution. Yeah. He was boring those people because they're not formed for that. That's why they kicked him out. They're not formed. They are formed as a machinery to protect Zuma against anyone who wants to attack President Zuma. You'll never find me anywhere defending corruption, even if it's a person that's close to me. Because I've told myself, but I'm in the movement for the people of South Africa. And I've always told even comrades in my organization that if I'm found wanting on corruption, don't defend me. Because you're taking the brand ANC down. It has suffered a lot. Even if you believe I'm not corrupt, but sometimes allow me to go and clean myself up and come back. Because the brand ANC can no longer carry anything as corrupt. If the ANC can resolve tomorrow, okay. For example, I'm a strong believer. I know people say it's a wrong belief. I'm a strong believer that we must not prosecute presidents when they leave their term because it creates problems and civil wars in countries. Now, a person must be told, as long as they've not done crimes that has to do with murdering people, and we need to have some law of some sort that creates, because what we're going to have in the country if you don't do that law, we're going to end up one day with a president that doesn't want to step down. Yes. Because he's scared that if I step down, I'll be arrested or charged. Now, I think that's a discussion all political parties must have. Like other countries, like in the USA, everywhere else, their presidents are protected. Yes. Now, we need to do the same. We need to protect our former presidents. Obviously, we must stipulate that not beyond certain issues.
Trump fought for presidential immunity of sorts. Yes. It sounds unfair. I understand your reason. However, it says everyone is equal in front of the law. Every constitution says that. Yeah. And then you come and say, well, but there's a different laws for presidents. Yeah. Then that creates a difficult impression to ordinary South Africans like us.
Yeah, but the president of the country is not an ordinary person.
It's actually, it's a far more responsible person because they're a constitutional being.
Yes, but I'm saying he's not an ordinary person. A president of the country takes decisions every day. Is the first citizen of the country with citizenship.
100%.
But is a citizen with a bigger responsibility to carry a weight. I'm saying you are a president of the country is a decision away to jail. Unlike me, who's sitting here,
you can make any decision.
I can make any decision because I don't have signed. I'm not saying that we must just open it up just for everyone like that, but it must be an issue so that on certain areas, let's give them protection so that people step down when the time comes for them to step down and protect our democracy. We don't want one day or Collen, when I'm a president of a country, I'm supposed to step down. I'm scared that you'll arrest me. I call the military
because of a decision you made for the greater good.
Yes, that time it was a good decision. Then later on it's discovered that it's not a good decision.
Yeah.
I'm saying we can make a decision now. Let's go back to the issue of President Thabo Mbeki of the HIV and AIDS ARV program. There was a strong political belief in African countries everywhere else that this HIV is created by Western to minimize the African, blah, 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 to bring their peace.
Right or wrong.
It
was a position.
Then it delayed the funding of ARVs. Many people died.
Yes.
Many people died. But at that time, he felt it was the right decision. But you can't say must be arrested for the death of those people. Because you're going to have a problem of presidents who don't take decisions.
Because they're afraid of being arrested after they're out of office.
Yes. Look, it's anyone who can see It's clear that these political parties are formed to suspend the revolution, to push us away from affirmative action, PPE, any progressive policy that has to do with black empowerment and readdressing the injustice of the past. Now, what they've done because of those divisions and because of high level of inequalities, the same people who fund Afro Forum and the DA are the same people who are funding a lot of breakaway parties. Ask yourself, where do they get the money from? You know, a big organization like the ANC is struggling with money. You know, we were struggling every day to operate. I'm saying as the president of the Youth League, every day I struggle to move because of the lack of resources. But a small political party to one seat, where you'll find that is more funded than a big political party. I'm saying the Party Funding Act, the publication of the funds, it has shown. It showed the likes of Rise Mzansi getting more money than the ANC, you know. But what you must analyze is that they're dividing black voices that are for progressives. Now, then there's two only white parties, which is Afro Forum and the DA. And I think that
you call Afro Forum a party.
Not Afro Forum, man. What is this thing?
Yes, Freedom Front.
They're one thing anyway. They've got the same policies and beliefs. That's why it's very difficult to separate them. But they're funded. They're able to build schools. They're able to do all of these things. They're able to go to the USA and misrepresent us. Say there's a genocide when there's no genocide.
Let's spend a minute on that. There was an option to choose other parties. It wasn't a completely impossible scenario.
Okay, the conditions were difficult.
Okay.
You let's say we're choosing MK, for example.
Yes.
MK says that we must remove our own president. That is one. Number two, we say we must suspend the constitution. Now, it goes out of our values and principles of what we stand for.
Yeah.
The EFF, we've always wanted to work with the EFF, but the EFF has always presented instability. You know, I can take you to 2016. The ANC agreed to work with the EFF.
Is it when there was a complication with Tshwane?
No, when Julius and Floyd woke up one morning after there's an agreement, they went to Stoika, did a press briefing, the formal settlement, and said that they are going to uproot the ANC everywhere and put the DA.
Oh, that moment, yes.
Then it created, because we thought they're a bit closer, you know, but now you don't know whether to trust them with anything, because if I sleep now, if I agree on a deal in the morning, you wake up, you say, we're removing the ANC everywhere, we're putting DA in Ekurhuleni, DA in Tshwane, in Johannesburg. And they did that successfully.
I consider South Africa an agent case.
Correct.
Where if we had to decide, we don't wait for a doctor. Or rather, we don't wait for an ambulance. We ask the neighbor who has a car. It's that situation.
Yes.
And that impression doesn't say we have the luxury of time. That is cultured with the ANC. What do you say to that?
Look, the ANC is going to evolve because there's a newer generation that is coming in.
That's you guys.
That works on edges. We're a very impatient generation. You can see even how we run the Youth League. We're moving fast. We don't want slow things. That's why sometimes we're always at odds with old people. For you to be expelled or suspended, you must breach the constitution and the policies of the ANC. Now, if you can check what really got Julius expelled, he breached important policies. The issue of Botswana, I'm saying they had nothing to do with the Youth League matters. But I think it was harsh. I think the leadership at that time were too harsh on him. I think they could have managed it way different, because he was a young leader who had an ability to mobilize the youth, an ability to sell ideas to the youth. Because the role of the Youth League is to be a board of opinion in the ANC and society.
Well, let's spend a minute on the culture of patronage and the culture of arranging. Let's eat the money.
Yeah.
Does that exist in South African politics?
Yeah, it's very big.
Yeah.
Patronage is central in South African politics. Okay. Across all political parties.
How do you describe it across all political parties?
Look, it's a young person in our economic conditions and as a world. In a normal situation, at 30 years, you can't be a young person. In a normal. But because of the injustice of the past and the high level of inequalities, a 30-year-old is still carried as a young person in South Africa on the basis of inactivity. Now, you have not started your life in South Africa.
By the time you're 30
years, you're still a young man. Very few of us had that opportunity.
King David Studio Podcast.